Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about how to let go of codependency to manifest any kind of relationship you want into your life, to stop chasing and be chosen. So this could be for love, money, clients, it could be used in business, it can be used in your personal life. Now, if you are somebody that overgives in relationships, like you are the giver, you are the one that's all about other people, you're the one that's I'm only okay if other people are okay. You're the fixer, you're the one that listens to everybody's problems. You are that person, but you always feel like you're getting crumbs back in relationships, that the amount that you put in, you just don't get back. This could be in romantic love, this could be in friendship, this could be at work, this could be in your career, in your business, with money, like work loads in your business, but you just feel like you get crumbs back. You give loads to clients, but you're not really getting the same back in their transformation or their testimonials or things. Or you are really go all in with a guy, but he's never really committing to you. That is a mismatch of balance of giving and receiving energy. And what we're going to talk about in this video is 5 steps that you can start doing today so that you can be the person that is chosen, so you can be the person that is chased, so that you can be the one that is manifesting love, money, and abundance with absolute ease. Okay. So, number one is you have to become someone that chooses yourself. You cannot expect others to give to you if you are not giving to yourself. This is so important. You have to create that balance between the giving and receiving and start choosing yourself. Notice all of the ways that you are abandoning, betraying, and abusing yourself. It's hard to face sometimes. The way that you're talking to yourself, the belief systems that you have, the way that you're taking or not taking care of your physical body. If you are overextending in relationships, what are you not giving to yourself? You really got to get clear on what is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, all of the ways that you are not choosing. When I first did this, it was when I was in this pattern of chasing after unavailable men, crossing my fingers that one day they were actually going to choose me. And they didn't until I started to choose myself. So until I chose myself by working out, by hydrating, by talking to myself nicely, listening to when I felt sadness or shame or loneliness and giving that to myself, no longer being in relationships that made me feel like shit. Like no longer being in those relationships, stepping back from relationships where the balance of giving and receiving was off. When I started to do those things and started to really look at the romantic relationships that I had in my life and the situationships or whatever they were, be like, that really doesn't make me feel good. I'm not going to put my energy into that anymore. I'm going to put the energy into me. Now, this can feel really uncomfortable, especially when you were a kid, it wasn't safe for you to choose you. You learned very, very young to accept crumbs of love and to perform and to be good and to be perfect and to be pretty and do all the things just so you could get that crumb of love. When you learned that from such a young age, that kind of conditional love, that kind of crumb love is very familiar to you and your nervous system. So when I started to do things like choose myself, those men reacted to that. They could feel that I was changing the dynamic between us and they would try to pull me back in. And that was something I wanted. It was familiar to me, that chase, that adrenaline is reminding me of my childhood, that roller coaster. But I had to choose not to. I had to choose not to do those things. And that felt really uncomfortable to the body. And this is why one of the further steps is talking about nervous system and inner child work to support you in this. But the very first thing is you need to write down all of the ways that you are going to choose yourself, all of the ways that you are not choosing yourself, and decide to take radical responsibility. Because if you want to change your reality, it is a mirror to your inside world. If you are not giving to yourself, if you are overextending, it will show up as you not being chosen. It will show up as crumbs. Number two is relationship realignment. When you start to do this, when you start to choose yourself, other people are going to start reacting to you no longer being the person that you are. So the one that overgives, the one that is all about other people's emotions, the one that's all about making other people feel good. When you start to shift that balance, they're going to notice. These relationships are going to start to be impacted by you choosing yourself because you are no longer in alignment with the relationships where it's okay for you not to be chosen. This has happened to me in a really big way in my business more recently, which is I have been in business for 5 years, but I've been working on scaling. I've got programs I absolutely love. I want to reach more people, and I have been doing the inner work to make that happen. And part of it was me realizing there was an imbalance where I was overextending. So that was in my business, like in how much I was doing. I was overworking, I was burning out, I was overextending with clients. I had really bad boundaries, and I started to realign those things. And I started to realign all of the community, the family, the friendships, everything in my life. So they were balanced. And basically, what happened was there was a huge reaction to that. So friendships that I'd had in my entire life just started to just like malfunction. There was family relationships that completely broke down. There was client relationships that I'd had been in my world for a really long time, been part of my community, but no longer there. And that's because I was no longer an energetic match to these relationships because I was choosing myself and because I was like, actually, I'm no longer okay with an imbalance. I want to do my 50% of giving, love it, but I want to receive back that 50%. And when I started to do that, there was a reaction. And this affected things like my sales in my business. This affected my community. This affected my email list. This affected people liking and following my posts. So it felt like I was in danger because I wouldn't be able to, have money and be okay because I'm being this new version of me and people are not liking her. I'm not very, very safe. So what happened was I kept freaking out and going into an old program of going from choosing myself to not choosing myself. The pattern is when we've got codependency from childhood and we've been really sensitive to energy shifts within people. When you're like a sensitive person, light workers, change makers, visionaries, empaths, even those that learn how to be hyper attuned to the adult and their needs as a kid to survive the environment, you can really feel that people are starting to react to you changing. And it can feel very overwhelming to your nervous system because it is unfamiliar for you to be in relationships where you are choosing yourself, where you are not abandoning yourself. When people are starting to get upset with you and withdraw or project or whatever that looks like in the situation, it doesn't feel safe. And then a younger version of you is getting really triggered because she's like, oh my God, everyone hates us. Let's just go do what they all want us to do. But what used to happen to me is then I would go into like this big fit of overwork, of doing a marketing campaign, of doing something that I thought that those people wanted me to do so I could help them change and transform. And then they would like, pick me again. There's a lot of like performance energy. What was happening here was these relationships were dying because I was no longer in alignment with them energetically, which is totally okay. They are entitled to friendships that can meet them where they are, family members that can meet them where they are, coaches, mentors, whoever can meet them where they are. But I was afraid by the void, by the absence, by the space. So then what I would do, try to fix it. And this got me stuck in a void, in a gap for a really, really long time because I was like, oh my God, it's not working. And I need to go do the things I used to do to survive. This is affecting my money. Oh my God, this is scary. And actually, what I didn't do at that time, and I now know to do, which is why I'm telling you and I'm doing this video, is first of all, I had to accept that there was a loss going on and I had to grieve. I had to grieve those friendships. I had to grieve those family relationships. I had to grieve those client relationships, those community relationships that I'd had going on for such a long time because there was sadness that it was the end of that relationship. There was some resentment and anger, especially for some of those relationships I'd had my whole life. They didn't want this version of me. But I just had to process that anger and that resentment of the relationships that only worked when I was overextending and accepting that that's not what they wanted and that we were just not in alignment anymore. Do a grief portal, cry it out, write letters, be really sad about whatever it is that you're losing. Be angry, punch, scream, not anybody else. Just get that anger out of your body. I'm an EFT practitioner, so I'm always like, let's tap on whatever the stories are, whatever the emotions are, and really clear it out. And then you can do a Hoppono forgiveness prayer, and you can forgive and release those relationships. And then you can do like cutting cord meditation or something like that. What this is that you are taking away the charge of that relationship. All the energy that you are pouring into something that isn't going to give you what you actually really, really want. And because you have actually shifted your energy, because you've been choosing yourself. So you are changing as a person, and you this isn't really what you want, but you're just scared because you're in the unknown and you don't know what the next thing is. So you want to grieve, process anger, forgive, cut cords, which is a process, by the way, and it will take what it takes. But if you focus on doing that, you can release up the energy much quicker. And what happens is when people are going through this relationship realignment stage, is they can get really stuck. So if you've been trying to manifest that relationship, if you've been trying to manifest money or clients or whatever right now, and it's not been working, very likely you've got stuck in this void part because you're kind of shrinking back all of the time. And you're like, oh my God, it's not safe for me to be this person. Let me just retract and I'll just go be her again, the old me. And you're not going to move anywhere. When I was going through this same journey with romantic love, and there was a void, there used to be crumbs of guys that would give me some attention, and then there weren't any. There was no chasing me, and there was no games. And my nervous system is unfamiliar with the lack of chaos, to be honest, and with the adrenaline of not chasing my dad's love. So that felt like I was kind of like dying. I had to really realize that that was just part of the process of being in the unknown, was shedding these patterns, and it can be edgy and sad. This is why being in community is so important and being supported, because when you're in that void, you're just, oh my God, what is happening to me? But you're going through a realignment. And if you keep going back and forth, you'll just get stuck in that gap, which is painful as F. Which is why I have a class coming up called Close the Gap to really help you. It's completely free, by the way, on the 4th of December, on the last full moon of the year, to bring women, men around the world together to close down the old identities, like the one that chases love, like the one that's codependent, the one that has low self-worth, like the one that thinks she has to hustle for love. Like all of those versions, we're going to clear them away and we're going to activate the next cycle. So we are just wrapping up a 9-year cycle this year in 2025. It's the last year of the 9-year cycle, which started in 2017. And we're starting a new one next year, which is 2026. So we are going to do an exercise. It's completely free. I'll pop the link in the notes below or above, wherever you are seeing this or hearing this. And come and join us because we're going to be working on this. I'm going to give you a journal prompt book that's going to go really deep into asking you questions about the last 9 years, asking you about the old identities that you are shedding. We're going to go very, very deep. Loads of people don't actually manifest it. Why is that? And it's because they got stuck in this void process, or they've got frustrated because they're not getting the result and angry at the universe because it's, oh, you're not giving to me. Oh my God, oh, poor me. It's a very victim child energy that's, I don't have power, when absolutely you have freaking power. You take responsibility for how much energy you are putting into those things. Are you overextending? And what are you giving back to yourself? And notice all of the ways that you receive in your life. So when you're going through this relationship realignment, you can focus on the shit that's burning and the relationships that are ending, or you can focus in all of the ways that you are receiving right now, receiving this video, this information, receiving this energy, because I care about you and your transformation. So receive the beautiful weather on a nice autumn day, receive the water that you're drinking, receive the color of the autumn leaves, like receive absolutely freaking everything. And notice all of the ways that you are given to. So this is one of the things, bit icky. I had to admit this to myself recently. Because of my childhood and being hyper vigilant for anybody that was about to withdraw love. So that's the pattern from childhood. Because I was so hyper vigilant on that, that took a lot of my energy and my focus. Who is about to reject me? I used to unconsciously use my third eye. Lots of people that are sensitive are doing that. They don't know they're doing it, but that's what you're doing. You're basically connecting to everybody and you're like, who's upset with me? Okay, let me go fix it. Or who's sad? I can only be okay if they're okay. Let me go do something for them. I used to do that all of the time. And that meant that I had a lot of energy in like fixing, in performing, in like making sure everybody was okay, to the point that I was ignoring the relationships that actually gave to me with so much ease. And it was almost like it wasn't enough because it wasn't hard or difficult or tug of war, that almost it wasn't worthy of my attention. And this has been something that I've really realized about myself recently, which is I have such a wonderful husband that I've manifested through learning to choose myself. And he picked the version of me that was in her power, and that he absolutely would have no interest in the version I used to be before, the version that used to chase men. He would never have been interested in that person. So that's something to say as well about this relationship realignment. When you keep going back and forth, you are blocking the people that are aligned authentically with you and your energy, going back to the old energy. Somebody who is aligned with your soul is aligned with your true, authentic essence, not your performing, not your trauma response. They're into you. So when you are keep going back and forth, they can't see you, they can't feel you. Like my husband used to sit opposite me and couldn't see me, I couldn't see him because I was too caught up in those cycles with other men. And it wasn't until I started to choose myself, align my energy, and lean back that he could actually come forward to me because that's the type of man that he is. We are married and super happy together. But what I realized, my shadow, a little dark, edgy thing, was where I've been going through a big awakening, internal change through relationship changes in my life and the relationship realignments and business and all the things I was doing, that I wasn't appreciating him for being someone that will always give to me so easily. I was too busy firefighting business things and trying to fix things that I wasn't appreciating what was actually truly there for me. And when I look back at my life, this is a pattern that I've been in where I've had relationships in my life that were very easeful, that loved me for who I truly was, but I didn't put energy into them. I put energy into the others because that felt like my family. That felt like the people that I knew. That was familiar to my nervous system. Whereas easy love wasn't familiar. I wouldn't put my energy in that, or even my respect, to be quite honest. Being really honest with you guys, wasn't respecting that my husband was just giving to me so effortlessly, so unconditionally, to the point that I was taking a bit advantage of him. I almost changed roles in this one relationship. I haven't done it in many, but because I felt safe with him. And being honest with you, that is a trauma response and that is a pattern of the nervous system and the inner child. I now fully receive my husband and anybody else, the one sign up to something or the likes that you give me or the comment that you share. I cannot tell you how much it means to me. I have like a happy dance every time somebody gives me a bit of love back, to be honest. It really means a lot to me. Not because I don't choose myself, not because I don't love myself, but because I am showing up in my authentic expression. I am no longer in that pattern of performing, people pleasing, tuning in, betraying and abandoning, overworking, and doing all that stuff to get relationship that, it has to be hard. I have to prove my worth. I've stopped doing all of that. So that's why when somebody aligns with this version of me, I'm just so freaking grateful because I'm like, thank you. You see me. You value me. I see and value you. I'll send you some love back too. This is the very important stage, is that realignment stage. You don't go back. You don't try to fix. You allow space to grieve, to process. You can have honest conversations with these people to see if you can repair and grow and expand together wherever you're at. It's a process that's very unique for every single person. This is a very destabilizing process. You are in the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen, when that person's going to come, when that client, that money, you don't know when it's going to happen. So you've got to reparent the parts of you that do not feel safe choosing you. You've got to really feel, is it the 5-year-old me, the 10-year-old me, the 15-year-old me, the 20-year-old me? What part of me is afraid that I'm not safe? And being there for that part and saying to them, hey, you can give yourself a hug, hold yourself and be like, I know that this wasn't safe in the past, but it is safe now. You are safe now. That's really, really important because otherwise your protective parts, that's what these parts are, and these younger parts as well, they're going to stop you. So this is when we like self-sabotage. This is when we go back into self-abandonment and betrayal because these parts of us don't feel safe. So you have your younger versions of you, and then you also have protective parts that have been built up in your ego, in your survival self to survive your life and your relationships and your environment. that will be like, oh my God, it's not safe for us to lean back. It's not safe for us to just emit our frequency and we're scared. The next step is very much reparenting those parts of you and being the healthy mother and the healthy father to those parts of you. This is having healthy boundaries in relationships. When you are choosing yourself, that is what you're doing. You're having healthy boundaries. You are expressing your truth, and it's really helping your inner child to feel okay with that. Number four is your nervous system. We've kind of been touching on this. You're in the unknown, it's very uncomfortable, your inner child's getting triggered, your protective parts are getting triggered, your body is getting triggered now because it feels really unsafe and it wants to go into patterns. It wants to run away, it wants to avoid, it wants to be frozen in the corner, it wants to do all of these things because it's like, what is going on? I'm not safe here. What is going on? It's unfamiliar to you. So, using nervous system somatic tools are really important. Tapping, like I mentioned before, breath work, simply just lying on the floor and reminding yourself what year you were in and that it is safe is really, really important. Using your seven senses so you can see that you're safe in this present moment. And that, honestly, saying to yourself, you're okay. Like, you may not have any relationships, but I've got you. Because what's happening if you are going to your highest timeline and you're attracting the highest level of money, highest level partner, highest level of income and fulfillment and business, you are really clearing out a lot of survival patterns. And if you are just like, I just want the romantic love, it might just be stuff around with men. If you're attracting friendship or opportunities like that, it might be just around females. So it depends how high you're going. So where I've more recently been going for such overflow to align to my highest timeline, my nervous system has been freaking out. So we've got to do these tools to support the nervous system. But also, what's really important is just rituals, is like throughout the day, you are choosing yourself. You're choosing yourself with your morning routine. You're choosing yourself with the way you speak to yourself. You're choosing yourself when you stop to go to the toilet. You're choosing yourself when you hydrate. You're choosing yourself throughout the day. So your nervous system is getting so much evidence that actually it is safe for me to be in this present moment and it is safe for me to remove these patterns and behaviors. That's really going to help you to feel like held. So many people will say to me, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe with whatever the transformation and the change that they're bringing into their lives. And that's just a perception and it's what the body is telling them. But you have a higher voice, you have a higher self voice that can be the leader, that can be like, we are actually safe. Okay. Like there's nothing wrong here. Even if the worst thing happened, okay, and you lost all your friendships and your relationships and your family, you're still safe. You're going to figure it out. And that's what you have to remember. You're not a little child anymore in that environment. You are an adult and you will figure it out. You won't know what those steps are sometimes, especially when you are calling in money or the partner or whatever. You don't know what they are. So it's your job to make yourself feel safe. A really big realization for me when I do this work is the person that makes me feel unsafe is actually me. It's my thoughts, it's my feelings, it's my actions. It's actually me. And, where I've cleared a lot of relationships that felt quite abusive to me and I've removed them, now the only person that does that is me. So I have to have 100% accountability to create a safe environment for myself inside my body, inside my home, inside my relationships. To me, that's the world, right? So this is super important. You want to create safety. You're obsessed with safety even because of your childhood. But safety isn't transformation. Having the most romantic, amazing man in your life or woman in your life or, getting paid millions of pounds doing a job that you love, that isn't like an easy thing at all. Okay. It's uncomfortable. You have to rewire your nervous system. You have to have new thought systems. You have to learn new skills. It is uncomfortable as F. That's not safe. That is not comfortable. It's not meant to be. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. But you can stay looping in your comfort, in your normal, and keep getting the same. Or you can go, okay, I'm going to be uncomfortable. Also, it's really uncomfortable being in your trauma patterns and being unhappy. Just saying. So when people are resisting the discomfort, and I'm like, you're going to be uncomfortable. You don't know what's going to happen. Your brain is going to hate that. Your nervous system is going to hate that. Your body has no information what life looks like when you choose you. Like it just does not know. When I chose to follow my own path when it came to love, I'm from an Indian background. Lots of my family have arranged marriages, and I decided not to do that. And everyone was really horrible to me about it. Told me I was too picky and too fussy, and that I should just be with this person or that person. And I was like, no, I want to have more for my life. And I was rejected by the tribe that is my family because of that choice. But I choose me. I choose my happiness. I choose a life aligned with my heart and my soul. And that means I have to face the parts of me that feel afraid and love them. That's just so important. Number five is just hold the frequency, guys. You're in the in between, right? So you've got to hold the frequency. You've got to carry on choosing yourself. You've got to parent your younger self. You've got to parent the protective parts. You've got to take care of your nervous system. You've got to have rituals that help you to feel safe. You have to have so much gratitude for all that you're receiving, every little thing that's changing in your reality, every little thing that's exactly the same, everything that's about your life right now. You need to make sure that you fully let that in and appreciate that and allow that frequency to come in. Because, as I said before, watching the whole thing burn down and trying to fix it is going to take your energy backwards. Choosing yourself, you will vibrate at a higher frequency because what's actually happening there is you are vibrating at a frequency of love and gratitude. You're creating peace inside your body because you're doing those nervous system practices. And soon enough, you will be a match to whatever it is that you're calling on. Not because you're chasing after it, not because you're trying to be somebody else, but because you are fully you and you are putting that out into the world. And then the universe has no choice to be like, oh, she chooses herself now. Okay, I'll send her this. She's no longer into crumbs, so I can give her this now. She no longer thinks that she's only worthy if she is overgiving and performing. She realizes that she's just worthy of love. And she's doing that for herself. And that's the most important thing. You're choosing yourself. You're creating safety for yourself. You are finding peace in the present moment, in the chaos of transformation. It's not pretty becoming a butterfly, right? But this is where people get themselves stuck on this journey is that their nervous system, their younger self will mess with them and they will revert back to not choosing themselves. And it's very uncomfortable to choose yourself. It brings up a lot of things, a lot of memories, a lot of inner child things that you've got to do to rebalance that energy. This is all about the heart chakra and balancing that giving and that receiving. When we do these 5 steps and we hold our nerves and we keep going, and actually what happens is you're actually loving your life because you're choosing yourself and you're filled with love and gratitude, even in the messiness, even in the in between. I've done this when I'm like, I genuinely have no idea how I was going to pay bills at points when my business was going through transition. But I realize now that if I had kept, not going back into the past and actually just being present to what was and taking really good care of myself, I would have collapsed time. So this is why I've created my masterclass on the 4th of December called Close the Gap. If you're watching this video after that day, it's no longer free. You can get it in my It Ends With Me community, and the details of that will be below. But if you are watching this before the 4th of December, you will have replay available till the 7th of December. So you can come join us at any point during that time if you can't come live. And we are going to close the gap between who you are now and who you are becoming by clearing out the old identities. We go deep into your shadow. If it's not happening, we need to go a bit deeper. Doing it in a community, in a circle, is so supportive because your nervous system can go deeper, for one. And it allows you to be held in seeing those shadow parts because that is the reason why it's not working. And my intention of this video was to shine a light on some shadow patterns that you might be doing right now that are holding you back from being chosen in love, money, abundance, business, clients, whatever it is that you want to call it in. So completely free. And we're going to do, it's a 9-year cycle, like I mentioned before, that's ending right now. It's a very powerful, potent time. 9 years ago, I started to choose myself. I basically, when we wrapped up 2016, I was like, this is no longer cool. I'm not okay with this. I'm going to change. And I started to do the things that I've spoken to you about today. And within 6 months, my life changed. Within a year, it changed. Within 18 months, it changed more. In 2 years, it changed more. Like, all of the time, 6 months, 12 months, it was always changing. So for the last 9 years, I have been shifting my reality again and again and again and again and again. And that's all been because I chose myself and I was following my own path, which is scary because no one's done it before. And you're like, what am I doing? But with those tools, the nervous system, your inner child work, choosing yourself, gratitude for what you're receiving right now, it really does shift the frequency. And please don't forget as well to celebrate. And please don't forget, notice when your shadow parts are coming online, when you get the thing and then it's trying to mess with you, it's trying to sabotage it. Like I remember when I was dating my husband at the beginning, my brain was telling me all kinds of things that he wasn't the one for me because it was trying to sabotage me. Is trying to keep that love away from me. And even the example that I use where I hadn't fully been appreciating and receiving my husband because there was a protective part that was trying to keep me safe because it was like we can't trust love that comes so easily because it's so unfamiliar. So that's the problem. It's unfamiliar. We don't know how to deal with it. So your nervous system and everything that's in your mind can't really compute it. So that's why it does this weird stuff. But when we are conscious and aware and we're being present to what is, what thought patterns, what feelings, what actions we're taking, and then choose to take different ones, choose to base decisions and choices on loving ourselves and choosing the best for ourselves, that's when life really gets to change. So come join us for free on the 4th of December, where we're gathering for the last full moon of the year. Link is in the notes. I would love for you to comment, share your experiences with me below. What's happened when you've been changing your dynamics in your relationships? Have you had grief and loss? How have you dealt with that? I'd love to hear from you in the comments and just share, like, subscribe, share this video with anyone that you know it would serve. And I will speak to you in the next video.